Can you hear me? We see Ågaard continuing to lead the gap, 3.8 seconds ahead of Vantoff. Marty running in third place. And so you have Ågaard, who really made a very good start, in Vantoff. Then Marty wants to really have a go at that second place, ahead of Bordas and Kelstrup. And then you have Ryabov still holding on to 6th place. Good job by him so far. Daniel Machin's 7th place, only half a second behind the 6th place man. And then you have Rick Cohn there as well. This is such a tight fight in the top 10 at the moment. Bordas now, he's had a little bit of a gap. He stretched his legs slightly. So that's Vantoff. He stretched his legs slightly over the 3rd place man, Marty. And Bordas now struggling to kind of get back up to the top 3 drivers. And he's looking in his mirrors. He sees Kelstrup there, but Kelstrup is not getting close enough quite at this time to make a move on Bordas. But it's enough to keep Bordas worried, enough to keep him looking in his mirrors, enough to keep him concentrating on what is happening behind, as opposed to challenging ahead. And several drivers towards the lower end of the field skipping turn 1, making some errors. You can see the dust coming up in the air, and that's not going to be good for the drivers on these Hankook tyres. And that takes a while to come off, and it takes a while to kind of reaffirm the grip that they would have. And I think Partashev's had an issue. I think Alexander Partashev's gone off somewhere and has dropped further down the field. He's dropped down towards 22nd place. Unfortunately, he was running 13th. And he's had an off but rejoined. But meanwhile, we are continuing to look at this battle for 2nd place. It's Danilo Vantoff in 2nd place. He is in the NP Motorsport car, the 16-year-old rookie championship leader. He's heading Josep Marti for 3rd place. Marti, also rookie driver, also 16 years old, a Spaniard in the Campos racing machine. Both of them with, I think, quite bright futures in motorsport, if it's fair to say. But right now, Vantoff is the one who's making the moves, leading the way. He's almost double the amount of points of anyone else in the championship so far. He's got 136 points. The next driver lined up is Enric Bordas, Ågaard and Mathieu, all on 69. But it's Ågaard out front, absolutely distant. And that gap has kind of eased, it's kind of edged and come to 3.94 seconds. He's not pulling away any further, but he really made hay when the sun was shining in those first couple of laps. While Vantoff, Bordas and Marty were fighting amongst each other, Ågaard took the opportunity and just charged ahead. And he is maintained that gap. And you see Vantoff in the red car. You have Marty there in the white and the black car with the black nose and the mostly white car. And third in that group is Bordas with the orange car with the black and white engine cover, and then Kelstrup in the white and blue car. The 4 of them together, the 4 of them running very, very, very close. All challenging for 2nd place in this race, and not far behind them, Ryabov and Matcha in 6th and 7th position. They want to join that fight as well. There's a lock up there from Kelstrup. You don't want to do that too many times. It will damage your tyres. It will be an absolute struggle to get back, to keep the pace, to really get back on form. If you do too much damage to those tyres, they will go away from you if you punish them too hard. And so Ågaard, as you can see him in the distance, he's already passing the start-finish straight, while the drivers are only just coming over the brow. The gap is 4.1 seconds. And Daniel Vantoff keeping just enough of a gap over Marty, so he's not fully concerned that his Spanish rival is there. Marty makes a real tip down the inside. He's not fully concerned that Marty is there because the gap really isn't close enough for Marty to make a move, but at the same time he can't relax. He can't make a mistake. He can't allow Marty an opportunity, and you see Vanthof there, the front end is beginning to kind of maybe struggle slightly, wonder now. He'll be wondering possibly if he's pushed his car a little bit too much in those early laps. Marty, the gap now is only 0.2 of a second. He's pulled up a little bit in this lap, but can he make it count? Can he make it work? Can he make second place? Bottas is going to be keeping an eye on this as well, but he also pushed extremely hard in those frenetic early laps when he was trying to pass Vanthof while trying to hold Marty behind. Of the four there, Kelstrup was probably the driver there that's battled the least, a 5th place man in the MP Motorsport entry. Kelstrup, another rookie, doing a fantastic job in this race, and his season really kind of really came together in the last time out in Navarra. Kelstrup currently 6th in the championship, 42 points, and really looking to make some moves this weekend in order to kind of propel himself back up the standings. As we see Ågaard just pulling away now, 4.6 seconds. Vanthof has 0.4 of a second advantage, and I think that's the key for Vanthof. He has just enough of an advantage coming down that start-finish straight, and you can see him gingerly looking in his mirrors, just seeing where Martin is, placing his car in just the right position. But you can see him, and he's just made enough of the gap over the start-finish straight. Marty's getting closer on the infield section of the circuit here at Portimao, but he's not making quite enough to actually make a move on the start-finish straight. As you see, Bottas now looking to get interested again in Marty for 3rd place. But you need to be closer to that final corner if you really want to make a move down the start-finish straight, and that is where Kelstrup's successes seem to lie. And so, meanwhile, as I've said quite a few times already in this race, Ågaard he's just out in the distance, making a very good effort here. Made a better start from Vanthof, and again, Vanthof is probably where his weaknesses have been so far this season. He isn't necessarily making the best starts in the world, and probably that's where Ågaard's his extra years experience in Formula 4, that's where it's coming to the fore. He is able to make those better starts. Same with Bottas in Navarra only several weeks ago. And it is allowing Ågaard to really pull away. And we do have a battle towards the rear there. That is Mathieu desperately trying to fend off Philippe Genic. And Rick Cohn coming into turn 1. Rick Cohn in the blue and white car, Genic in the blue, yellow and white car. Mathieu just ahead in the Formula de Campagnos orange car with a black engine cover. And I do believe Genic may have made a move on the inside for Cohn of 8th place. We might hopefully see whether he was successful in a few moments' time. As we see Vanthof, Marty, Bottas, Kelstrup, and now Rybov has joined the battle for 2nd place. He has caught that group of 4. And really of that group at the front, Vanthof is the one who's probably putting in the slowest pace. But I say slowest pace, it's probably only 1 or 2 or 3 tenths here and there. He's still doing just enough to hold the gap at the front of the field and lead this group. Currently 2nd place. Ågaard, who's joint 2nd in the championship, is currently leading this race. In a sense, Vanthof will be maybe reasonably happy that he is 2nd place and still coming out of this race with quite a solid batch of points. But maybe he would have been a little bit more comfortable if it was one of the lower runners in the championship who was leading this race and not the man who's currently joined 2nd. Ågaard really showing some form so far this weekend. But I think the critical thing about the championship so far that we have seen is we've seen some drivers who perform on weekends. Bordas was spectacular in Navarra, and he's proved quite good here as well. I'm sorry, we see in the background then is Rybov, and I do believe he is going to make a move on Kelstra for 5th place, going down the inside in the green car in the GRS entry, and he does. Then there's a change for position there, very good job, but Kelstra is going to try and make another move to retake the position into turns 1, 2 and 3. Doesn't quite get the opportunity there. Will he pull back in and try and make a move to retake that position down into turn 4 as we see Ogard go through and out of the picture. Now Vanthof, Ogard, Bordas, Rybov, Kelstrup. Kelstrup's not quite close enough to make the move there, and it is Rick Cohen who's got past Mattia for 7th and 8th positions. Jenik still 9th, Zanfari 10th place. And so Rick Cohen now into the top 7, and he'll be chasing after that new pack soon, and he'll be bringing probably Mattia, Jenik and Zanfari with him. And we're getting very, very close to the end of this race. Only 2.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Mattia is an issue. I think Mattia has lost more positions as well. Jenik, Zanfari, Arkanchelskis are now all passed. Mattia has dropped down to 10th place. As we're continuing to see this thrilling fight over the podium positions. Vanthof leading there, this group in 2nd place. Then you have Marty, but the gap between Marty and Vanthof has extended slightly, now running at 0.8 of a second, and Bordas has dropped back a little as well. He is currently focusing on Rybov, who's not far behind him. So we're getting to the end, close to the end of this race. Matcha now, who's actually dropped down into 12th place, and I'm beginning to wonder maybe if he has an issue. As you see the gaggle of cars really fighting their way into turn 2. It's not necessarily a traditional overtaking place, but it's the kind of position where you can really destabilise a rival. Bordas there in the orange and black and white car running in 4th place. He'll be disappointed to lose out to Vanthof even more so in this event, but Ogard winning will drop him behind slightly. Matcha was also the other driver who was joint 2nd in the championship. He is currently not in the points at all, running down in 12th place. If we look at some of the action further on down the field, and of course there is Bordas. So Ogard continues to lead now. 5.8 seconds is the gap. Vanthof, 2nd place, was the own red car and screen there, then followed by the black and white machine. That's Josette Marti in 3rd place. Bordas now behind. Bordas has really fallen behind. I think not quite settling for 4th place, but he's definitely keeping a watching eye on Vladislav Rybov just behind. Vanthof feeling probably he may have done just enough to hold on to this podium position now. The clock has run down, so we have this lap and then we have one more. But I cannot see a scenario where Sebastian Ogard loses it this time round. He won yesterday and it looks like he's going to repeat it again today. He's 5.6 seconds up the field. Then you have Vanthof, then you have Marti, then you got Bordas, slightly in clearer air ahead of Rybov. Kelstrup has fallen behind. The gap between 5th and 6th is now 2 seconds. And he's got Rick Cohen just a second behind him. But right behind Cohen, you've got Jenik, you have Arkanchelskis, before you've got Zanfari in 10th position. Remember, this race being the shorter race of the weekend, the points paying positions only go down to 8th place. You have to be in that top 8. And right now, Philippe Jenik in 8th place is the man who is scoring that final point. Vanthof, he's not completely under pressure, but Marty's still there. And Marty's very presence will be a reminder to Van't Hoff that he can't just simply let any of the opposing drivers get too close. He needs to continue to keep the pressure on. He needs to continue to push as Ågaard passes the start-finish line to begin the final lap of this race. Marty is close again, but he is not close enough. 0.7 of a second is a gap. He is closing in somewhat, but it's not close enough to make a move into the first corner. And it's been a fantastic battle between this group, and it's spread out slightly in these final few laps, and I do begin to wonder if maybe tyre wear is beginning to play a part as we see a move going into turn 1 there, and I think that may have been Jenik. I think it may have been Arkin Kelskis, making a move on Jenik for 8th place. We'll see in a moment how that transpired, if the move was definitely completed. But meanwhile, Ågaard just flashed through the picture. The race leader led every moment of this race right from the start. We've barely seen him. He took advantage of the battle over 2nd place earlier on in the race to create a gap and really streak away while everyone else behind him was fighting. Ågaard made built an incredible 5-second lead in those first few tours, and it's stayed pretty much as that in the rest of the race since. He has been absolutely faultless. In a sense, he hasn't had a huge amount to worry about, but he did his job that he needed to do, getting off the start-finish line. As he now rounds the final few corners, he took the lead from Van't Hoff, the slow-starting Van't Hoff, from the line, got into the lead, hasn't looked back since, as he comes over the brow to take the checkered flag, and his 2nd win of the weekend, his 2nd win of the season. And this will formally propel him to 2nd in the standings, as Van't Hoff takes a flag ahead of Marty. Bottas takes 4th. He'll be slightly disappointed with that. Ryabov in 5th place. Kelstrup takes 6th. Rick Cohn takes 7th. Arkin Kelskis did take Jenik, and that was for the final points paying position of this race. 9th, Jenik Sanfari came home 10th. Daniel Machu did take Denbol for 11th in the final couple of laps. Then Alejandro Garcia came from 23rd and last to finish 13th. Alex Dunn 14th. Brandon Oxley 15th. Lola Lovenfoss 16th. Jorge Campos 17th. Well, Oliver Mitchell 18th. And Alexander Partashev 19th. So, a fantastic drive there for Sebastian Ågaard. Absolutely faultless. And his teammate Pepe Jose Marti in the Campos entry is going alongside, giving him the thumbs up, congratulating him on a well deserved victory. And so that has been the 2nd race of this weekend, and a very interesting race indeed. Quite tense, lots of action back and forth amongst the drivers, as we see confirmation of the provisional results really. Ågaard winning from Van't Hoff, then Marty, Bottas, Ryabov, Kelstrup and Cohn the points paying positions. And Arkin Kelskis 9th, Jenik 10th, Zanfari 11th, Matchit 12th. Sorry, slight change on the timing screens there. It's actually Arkin Kelskis was 8th, Philippe Jenik 9th, Zanfari 10th, Matchit 11th. Bramchick in there as well. Dengball 13th, Garcia 14th, Dunn 15th, Brandon Oxley 16th, Lola Lovenfoss 17th, Jorge Campos 18th, Oliver Mitchell 19th, Alexander Partashev came home in 20th, Emily de Hughes 21st, Manuel Espirito Santo had an issue earlier on the race, fell down to the back of the field, he is 22nd, and only driver in the pits, Gilles Molina. He completed 11 laps of the 12 as the field congregates in the pit lane, getting to be ready for their final race of the weekend. That's coming up in only a couple of hours' time. And it was a very action-packed start of the race. Vanthof slowish away and allowed Ågaard into the lead. Ågaard's already out of the picture at this point. Then we had a battle between Vanthof, Marty, Bordas and Kelstrup in those early laps. And Marty eventually made the move on Bordas to take third place, but he couldn't progress any further. And this was a fight between Arkanchelskis, Rick Cohn and Daniel Matcha for the final point playing position. And Ryabov, who was running 6th earlier on, eventually made a move on Kelstrup to take 5th position. Kelstrup fell away a little bit in those later laps. Lots of battling and fighting throughout the lower reaches of the points, but it really mattered for Ågaard out front, taking the checkered flag ahead of Vanthof, who came home 2nd, and Marty, who was 3rd, Bordas and Ryabov there, and Kelstrup just hanging on to 6th place. Well, that has been a wonderful second race of this weekend here at Portimao for the Spanish Formula 4 Championship. We will return later on today. There's the time on screen there, 12:30 on the continent if you're watching from there, 11:30 from Portugal, UK and Ireland. Do tune in for race 3 of the Spanish Formula 4 Championship this weekend. That's coming on in 2 hours' time